Hey guys, welcome back to Project E. This bait, once I get it out of this, I don't want to show it to you yet. That bait right there, we're going to talk about a bait that you might have forgotten about. It used to be really popular. It's a wintertime bait that's absolutely phenomenal right here in my hand. We're going to talk about it this week in the Project E and why you need to have one tied on this winter. Catch big old tubs like that. Man, that was a light bite. It just felt like I had moss on it. That is crazy. I think it's a decent one too. I feel a good head shake. Man. Oh, I didn't feel it at all. I mean, it's just like, it got just a little bit heavier. Oh, just crazy that you go from such vicious bites in the summertime to you get here in this super cold water. You know, we're mid 40s, but it's gotten really cold. I think it's a good one, guys. I think it's a good one. I think it's a good one. I think it's a good one. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, looky here, looky here. Come here, baby. He can't even jump, it's so cold. Can't even jump. All right, go, stay on there, stay on there. All right, you guys can see, that's the bait right there, guys. I used to throw this thing all the time. Just a grub, man, I dropped it. Just a grub. This thing right here is such a fish catcher on days like today when it's calm, not much happening, you know, super clear water. Look at that mark on him. Ooh, he's blowed up. That fish is so deep, he's tight. Like, I can't push his air bladder. I need to get him back in the water. Thanks, buddy. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Come on, go, 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 go. Get down there, get down there, get down there, go. Look at him go. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about, guys. It is going to be about just a grub on light line, reeling it really, really slow. I've got this on a 1/4 ounce head. You know, that's about as light as I'll go. But we're going to talk about this. We're going to break this all down today, show you guys how I fish this bait right here in the wintertime. And I think, you know, with all the swim baits out, you know, so many people have gotten away from the grub. You better get one tied back on. I know I'm going to have one tied on after catching my first fish like that. That's pretty awesome. I can see them hit it before they hit it. That is just so crazy to me. That is purely catching them off that active target. Oh, it's a big old crappie. It's a slab of a crappie, isn't it? Look at that thing. Golly. Oh, there is a nice one. I saw that one on the active target. Oh, there we go. Man, that fish is ice cold. Ice cold. Not a bad fish. Anything's good in the wintertime when the water's in the 40s. Deep and slow, deep and slow, slow and deep. That one hit on the fall. You got to like that when they do that. I don't think it's very big. I just went over some fish. I was trying to back off of them. Made a cast out across them and just hit it on the fall. There's a pile of them on the active target right there. So the rod and reel that I'm using is just a 6-9 medium action. I've got 10-pound XPS braid. I've got an 8-pound leader. Don't be too shy to go to a 6. I'd rather have 6 today. The light of wind that we've got to help keep this bait down. And just a basic, that's a size 2 spinning reel, I think. It's a little one. Size 2 spinning reel. Yeah, that's the setup. That's Really important to make long casts, guys. I mean, I can't stress that enough, because you have such a small window that bait is in the strike zone. You know, when you're fishing as deep as I'm fishing, you know, I'm sitting in 34 feet right here, and I'm trying to get it to the bottom. So make as long a cast as you possibly can. Anytime you can let that wind really take that bait, you know, you can add another 10 or 15 feet. You're just being that much more productive on your cast. That's a mistake you can make. If you have too much slack in your line on the fall, you cannot get the hook set. And that's what happened to me right there. I had a bunch of slack in it, and I didn't get the hook set. Oh, that's a better one. I can feel the head shake on that one. Oh yeah, that's a heavy one. That's a heavy one. Nice one. That is a nice one. Oh, stay on her, buddy. It's something about catching fish on light line I just love. Look at him down there. Oh, I just got 8-pound test on this thing. It is some clear water. Come here, buddy. Oh, he's just hooked right in the noggin. Are you gonna jump? It's awful cold to be jumping, dude. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Oh, come here, come here. I got you. There's a nice one. Fat, chunky wintertime bass on the bait that just kind of people don't throw anymore. You know, a grub is just a great bait to throw. He is about perfect as perfect can be. Thanks, bud. Thank you, thank you. Oh, that water's cold. That is cold water. And fun to kill. Oh, man, my line just broke. How about that? Well, it was a good time for it to break right after that fish. That's light line. That's light line. You know, light line's really important in this situation. You know, I just broke it right there. I've been fishing for probably 30, 45 minutes this morning, and I hadn't retied, but it's just important to be able to keep that bait down. You know, it's not a very heavy head on that grub, and it's just, you know, really important. One, it's super clear, but two is more to keep the bait down in that strike zone when I'm trying to reel that fish in. You know, 6, 8-pound test, I'll never go bigger than that when I'm swimming a grub like that. I gotta tie another one on now. When I go to rig a grub, I think it's important to rig it tail down. The reason is it doesn't get snagged on my hook near as much when I go to cast it. So I will just take that bait and I will rig it tail down every time. That head's not going to be heavy enough for that big a grub. I was sitting there thinking, let's just try it. I think I had a 3/8 on right there when I broke off. Yeah, let me get it right here pretty quick one now. So important when you cast that grub out there to really watch your line. I let it fall on semi-slack line. You know, I've got a big bow in my line. So many bites will come on the fall. It just hit bottom. I just watch that line, and when that line goes slack, I know it's going to the bottom. You know, this morning I've been experimenting with, you know, a 5 count, an 8 count, and then going on the bottom, and so far all the fish have been on the bottom, you know, that I'm seeing on the depth finder and what I've caught. Oh, he hit it. It's so hard not to set the hook. You just gotta just reel and pull. Swimming a grub is a technique that's, man, it's a clear water technique. It's not something that you're gonna do in dingy water, guys. So don't take this technique and go try it in dingy water. It's just not gonna work for that. You've got to have 4, 5, 6, 7 foot of visibility. To me, that's what this bait's built for. Yeah, if we can get a little ripple on the water, it'll be good. It's so hard to catch fish, you know, clear water fish with no ripple on the water. That's why I've got this light line technique out here working today, you know, we're trying to make it work. There's one right there. I kind of let him eat it a little longer that time. My drag's pretty light. I don't know if it's a good one or not. Just a fish. Just a fish, a cold fish. Just a fish. But I like them. I'm not prejudiced against the little ones or the big ones. I like catching them all. I got a story about swimming a grub. I really learned how to do this on Table Rock. Mike Webb, Tim Sonato, those guys, they're the ones that taught me about it 20 years ago. And had a Bassmaster Open there. And it's back in the draw days, and the guy, Drew, I knew well, and I told him exactly what I was doing. I said, man, I got 6-pound fluorocarbon. This is way before we ever started using braid to a leader. And I said, man, I got 6-pound fluorocarbon. I've got a, you know, 1/4 ounce head and a 4-inch grub, and told him the exact color. I told him everything, you know, because I knew him well, and I didn't feel like he was going to tell a lot of other people, and you know, I was wanting to help him, you know. So we pull up to the very first starting spot, and he had everything like he needed to have, with the exception of one thing. And you know, I've talked about this a bunch, guys. I've talked about gear ratio reels. He had a new spinning reel that was like a high-speed spinning reel, 6 something to, and I had a 5-to-1 pro qualifier. And you know, we'd throw it out there, and I said, now count to 7, 1,000, whatever it was, and we'd reel it in. And man, I had a limit in the boat before he ever caught one, and we figured out the difference was that gear ratio reel. You know, my bait was staying in that strike zone just a little bit longer than his bait. And so it's really important, guys, to pay attention to that gear ratio reel. You think you can slow it down or duplicate it, or, you know, you just really got to pay attention to it, because there's times, and especially this time of the year when it's cold and you got to keep your bait down, that, you know, a slower gear ratio reel can really pay off. He ended up changing to one of my reels, and ended up catching a limit too. We both had like, I don't know, 13, 14 pounds, you know, pretty good stringer that day. It was fun. We were catching them out of suspended timber. You know, I think our boat was sitting in 60 foot, and the timber was about 30 foot tall, and, you know, they were about 20 foot down. It was pretty cool. I guess the fish were suspended. The timber wasn't suspended, but fish suspended in the timber. I think I said suspended timber. Oh, dang it. Oh, that's happened so much in my career swimming a grub. So I missed one, and I set the hook like I wasn't supposed to. This is a good one. And I just killed it. I just let it fall right back to the bottom, and then my line just jumped, just went doop. And that's just exactly, I mean, if you can just keep yourself from, you know, just let it fall all the way back to the bottom and watch that line, then you get something like this right here. Oh, it's a big one. Holy smokes, it's a really big one. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Holy smokes, you can't even see the bait. Golly, it's a giant. It is an absolute giant. Oh my goodness, look at that fish. Come here, baby. Open that big old mouth. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Look at that, watch this, watch this, watch this. This hook's just gonna fall out. Look, I'm just gonna barely touch it. It's just right there in the skin. That's all it took right there to fall out. That's why you don't ever wanna give them any slack. Oh, man. Man, that thing is cold. It is so cold. I'm sitting in 33 foot of water. What a beautiful fish. Look at that thing. Golly, I love it. I love it so much. Thank you, girl. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh. One thing you got to do when you catch a big one like that, and it's all the way down in its throat, you got to make sure your line right there is good, because those teeth will get on that line right there. You know, we're using really, really light lines, so I think it's okay. If you feel it more than twice, it's generally not. So I'm gonna retie, you know, or if you have to go and feel it like a third time, it's not good. As bad as I want it to be good, and I had to go down it 3 times, so like I have a little bit of doubt, there's probably something there that I'm feeling, so. All right, hey, and then something else you're gonna see me do here. I'm just gonna tie a Palomar knot. I'm in a big hurry. I wanna get back out there. That school may be fired up. I said always tie a cinch knot with a fluorocarbon line, but my hands are super cold. I'm gonna wet it really good, and I'm gonna pull the tag end, and I'm gonna get away with that Palomar knot to make another cast. All right, here we go. Tighten that drag back down. I cannot tell you how many times in my fishing career I loosen the drag and then I forget. I get a cast on the very next bite. Swimming this grub is all about finding what depth the fish are holding. You know, today, every one of them I've seen on my Lowrance is dead smack on the bottom. So I'm letting it go to the bottom, and I'm gonna reel it 15, 20 feet, stop, let it go back down to the bottom. I'm trying to keep it within a couple feet of the bottom, because that's just where they're at today. Now maybe as the day progresses and the sun's out, you know, they'll come up in that water column if things start to warm up a little bit. But man, it's cold. It's water temperatures in the mid 40s. So these fish, they're just hugging the bottom, because I think it's the warmest thing right now on the lake. I've got 8-pound on here. I didn't know what I was gonna do today when I got out here. I really would like 6. I mean, to me, it just keeps the bait down there that much better, and I'm able to reel it a little quicker, yet it stays down there deeper with 6. I mean, all the best grub swimmers will tell you 6-pound test is really what you need to throw. And there's a handful of them that tells you a 4-pound test. I don't own 4-pound line, but don't overpower it with too big a line. Oh, I waited that time. Oh, that feels like a nice one. That feels like a nice one. And I keep getting bites, and I just keep, I'm setting the hook, you know, I've got to get into my, oh, it's a crappie. It's a crappie. It might have been what I've been getting. All those bites have been big old crappie. A really important thing that you've got to figure out when you're swimming a grub like this is how fast does it fall? You know, my bait, the way I've got this one set up, I've got a 1/4 ounce head on a 5-inch grub. You know, it's gonna fall about 2 feet every second is what I've determined, you know, by counting it down to the bottom. Now that would change if I had a 4-inch grub, because it's gonna be less drag. It would be a little faster in that. If I go to a 3/8 ounce head, it's gonna be a lot faster. So figure out, just go in 10 feet of water, get a whole bunch of slack, throw it over the side, count it down to the bottom, and you know, see how long it's gonna take, because you've got to determine that, you know, when you're catching suspended fish, fishing it over brush piles, you need to know exactly how deep your bait is, how many seconds it takes you to count it down to get it to your depth. I like a grub when the water's really cold, and I think the reason why I like it so much is I can reel it so slow, yet it still has action to it. You know, with some swim baits and some of those things, you know, you have to reel it just a little bit faster to make the tail kick. With a grub, it's gonna move. If the bait's moving, the tail is gonna move. And it's a very, very subtle action to it that I think makes it better when that water gets really cold, you know, like what we got in the mid 40s. Oh. Another crappie. And I'm murdering the crappie. A bunch of them down there. One thing that's super critical when swimming a grub like this, you can't get in a hurry. My boat needs to stay in one spot the entire, length of the cast. If you're moving down the bank or trying to cover a lot of water, you get a big bow in your line and you're not controlling your depth, you're not controlling your speed, you can't feel your bite. So it's definitely a technique that you can't be moving really fast. I mean, it's a slow technique. Keep your boat stationary, then move to your next cast a little bit. But don't think that you can get out here and get that trolling motor, 7, 8, 9, and cover a bunch of water with this technique, because it's a slow technique, as far as boat positioning. Oh, what do I got? Man, I just killed it and something ate it. I don't think it's a bass. Oh, it might be a bass. Oh, it is a bass, just not a very big one. It's not a very big one. But I like them all. I like them all. Hey, that's like a 10-pounder. About 7 years from now. Such a light bite. I can't get over it. I gotta be on my toes to know that bait's changing. Whew. I want to reiterate one thing or one mistake that's so easy to make with this bait, and that's keeping it in the depth that you determine those fish are in. Today I determined that they're on the bottom. It's hard to keep this thing on the bottom. So many times you'll reel it too quick, or you don't even let it get all the way to the bottom, on the initial cast. So trust me on this. That's the one thing that a lot of people are not gonna really pay attention to, is to keep that bait in the depth consistently that the bite is happening in. You've got to determine that, but once you have it determined, make it really hard, really pay attention, to make sure it's always on the bottom, to pause it, reel it 15 feet, pause it, let it get all the way back to the bottom, reel it 15 more feet, let it get back to the bottom. So I just really want to hammer that point home, to keep it in the depth that you're supposed to keep it in for that given day. So man, that's my swimming grub. That's what I do. I like it on days like today when I've got really clear water. That's a key. I don't have much wind and the water's really cold. That's just a Berkeley Power Grub. I've got it on a 1/4 ounce head. That's their shaky head. And as far as colors, just any kind of white or milk white or off-white, shad colors, just think shad, that's what you're trying to imitate. The clearer the water, the more transparent I want the bait to be. And if you get a little more stained water, don't try this in like 1 foot visibility. It's not going to work, but if you have like 3 foot visibility, that's when you can just go like more of a brighter white type bait. But man, just keep that in mind. If you're out there and you're fishing this winter, water's really cold, fish are hugging the bottom, suspended somewhere in between, you got really clear water, swim that grub right there. You'll catch some good ones, I promise you. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you don't mind. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you do. Good luck.